So you can decide to get, let's say in groups of 4 or 5, you decide, right? According to where you're sitting. I want you to talk about your favorites. Favorite musician, favorite song, favorite athlete, TV show, right? You can choose 4 things. It can be an actor, it can be a musician. Choose 4 things and try to get a common answer, right? I don't know if that is going to be possible, but try, okay? I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do so, yes? So you can work together. So you can, for example, you can work you 4 together, you can work you 4 together, okay? Notice something very interesting. At the beginning, everybody was very quiet. You couldn't hear almost a voice. And then as you started talking, the voices went louder and louder and louder. Why? Because you started getting interested in what you were talking about. Isn't it true? And of course, I could build on that. I could ask you your favorites. We could exchange ideas. And I would be able to get to know a little bit about you, and you would get to know a little bit about me. The kinds of music, TV programs, or even songs, music that we like, right? But this is a good example to talk about involvement. So involvement is a very important part of confidence, right? Because involvement brings what? Interest. Or interest brings involvement, right? Joy, because we love talking about the things that we like. Enthusiasm. And it's amazing how you see voices getting louder because you get enthusiastic about everything. And when we start talking about students and teachers, that will impact on the level of dedication. If they are working on a project they like, they will do lots of things for the project. But if they hate the project, they probably won't do a thing, right? Or they will do the least possible thing. And when we talk about teaching, I know many of you, not everybody, is passionate about teaching, isn't it? That's why we say that teaching is not a work of art. Teaching is a work of heart because we really dedicate ourselves very much, right? So this is the level of involvement that brings confidence in the classroom. Not because we know that everything is going to be okay, but because we love what we do. We are committed to what we are doing, right? So again, confidence is contagious. So is the lack of confidence. And we know that because when we are not feeling very well, it seems that our students can feel it. And the opposite is also true, right? And because we are at the forefront of everything that happens in the classroom, generally we tend to lead students' mood. If we are okay, they are okay. And if we're not so nice, maybe they won't be so good on that day either, right? But talking about confidence, this is not all, right? Creativity and flexibility also comes in the way. I'm gonna ask you to continue working in the same groups that you were in the previous activity, right? But now I want you to write down numbers, right? You are going to answer my questions using numbers, but you're not going to show it to your partners, right? To the members in your group. Just answer in right numbers. I think you better write because you're going to forget, right? Because it's not only one question. I think that altogether we have 7 questions, right? Okay, but just answer with numbers, right? Don't write anything, right? So how many times have you, right? Okay. So how many times have you watched a really good movie or TV show in the last 2 months? Don't say a thing, just write the number, right? Okay, second question. How many times have you listened to your favorite kind of music in the last week? Don't say a word, right? 3. How many times have you talked to your best friend in the last 2 weeks? Right? Next question. How many times have you read something interesting that wasn't for work or school in the last month? If it's nothing, you can write 0, right? Because this is a problem that I have too. Yeah. So 5. How many times have you eaten your favorite foods in the last 3 weeks? Well, because of my weight, you can see that many times in my case, right? Okay, so next question. How many times have you had a really fun weekend in the last 3 months? Wow, that's unfair, right? At the end of the semester, who can... Okay, so the last question. How many times have you spent at least 1 hour doing something you like in the last 3 days? 1 hour. Yes, something you like, you really like in the last 3 days. So you have all the answers, right? So now I want you to get together and exchange the numbers and see who gets the higher numbers, right? So are you saving a lot of time for yourself, for leisure, or not? Well, teachers are too dedicated, right? Sorry, but because time is short, I have to cut the activity short. Wow, some people will call this leisure. I call this quality time, isn't it true? And we don't have a lot of quality time for ourselves, isn't it? No, it's too terrible, isn't it? Now, agree with me or not? Do you think that this is a short activity? Kind of, isn't it? Because you hear and you... Now, what happened? A short activity related with reading evolved to a speaking activity. Do you agree? Because if I say, for example, how many times have you watched a really good movie or TV show in the last 2 months? Oh, 3. I watched ta-da-na, ta-da-na, ta-da-na. Oh, me too, I love this movie. And it goes on and on and on. So an activity that could be used as a warm-up evolves and ends up becoming a speaking activity, isn't it true? And it's amazing because when we start talking, we feel like talking a little bit more about the topic because it's really interesting, right? Okay, remember what I said before? Confidence is related also to creativity because creativity brings what? Flexibility. You change and adapt whatever you want to whatever time or outcome you want to achieve. Let me show you something. This is the activity that you developed. This is the original activity. It is a quiz of 10 questions. Instead of answering, you ask these questions to your partner. You are going to add up the numbers and you are going to have the result. And together you discuss the results. You see the difference? It's exactly the same content, but it is a totally different activity. And based on what you want to do with your students, the skills you want to favor, you can change completely one type of activity and transform it into another one. Right? So this is something that is very important because we work on not only on students' confidence, but on our confidence as well. Because the more accustomed to doing this we are, the better we get at being flexible in the classroom with our students, right? So when something is not working, we can switch and do something else, right? But this is not all. Why? Because planning is also something very important, right? So imagine, I can start working on language. So for example, the topic is how to decline an invitation politely, right? So number 1, you can thank your friend for the invitation, right? For the invite. So again, you can say, thanks so much for asking me, or thank you so much for the invite. You can apologize and refuse. For example, sorry, but I already have plans. Sorry, but I have something else going on that day. Well, I'm sorry, but I can't make it. So this is input for our students, right? And then to offer another time. For example, this week is crazy. Let's shoot for next week. Maybe another time. I'm free next week, right? And can I take a rain check? And so on and so forth. So here I'm giving students possibilities, right? Then I have what? Context. I have a conversation, right? And in this case, it seems that she's really interested in Mike. This is Alicia. But is Mike really interested in her, in Alicia? Well, we don't know. We have to listen and check the conversation. Unfortunately, we won't have time. But he's not uninterested as he seems, because she asks him out. He refuses, but then he gives her another option, and she accepts it, right? So then all that input, all those sentences, they are inserted in this conversation, right? Later on, then I work here with more options. So here are things you can invite people to do, right? So sports and games, friends and family, art and performances. So I can ask students to match, right? And I can ask also students to start completing with other words that they can remember from each of these things. So sports and games, friends and family, art and performances. Generally, students are very good at that. For example, sports, probably they know more than we do, especially if we're talking about adults, right? Now with cable TV, there's so much access to all kinds of information, right? So later on, I have what? Grammar, right? And grammar, I have formal and informal denials, invitations, and requests, right? So for example, in this case, I'm asking people to do something, right? I'm leaving messages using tell. So tell him that I'm going to miss class. Could you tell him that I'm going to miss class? Would you tell him that I'm going to miss class? What's the difference from tell to would you tell?
Well, conditional.
No, I'm talking in the register. So do you agree that tell him is more informal and would you tell him is more formal? So if I use ask, I could use exactly the same sentences, right? I could say, for example, please ask her to take a picture. Could you ask her to take a picture? Or would you ask her to take a picture? So again, this is related to the first one, but I am already preparing students for the next activity, right? Okay, from informal to formal. Oh, thank you. Okay, so going on, I wanted to write. You're going to see what and why later. I'm going to ask you to write not 5 sentences, right? But 5, let's say, phrases that I'm gonna dictate, right? Are you ready? Can I? So the first one is, that's the problem. I don't think I'm going to make it tonight. I wanted to write it down. Yes? Okay. Okay, the next one. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm going to repeat. That's the problem. I don't think I'm going to make it tonight. Okay? Oh, and could you ask Brittany to take pictures of the whiteboard for me? my idea was to develop each and every exercise, but because time is short, I am going to cut some of the activities, right? All right? Okay, the next one. I don't know. Could you tell Mr. Eaton that I'm going to miss class? Again, I don't know. Could you tell Mr. Eaton that I'm going to miss class? Just so quiet. Okay, the next one. Hi, Caitlin. It's Jake. Are you busy? Again. Hi, Caitlin. It's Jake. Are you busy? Okay, last but not least, my bus is stuck in traffic. Nobody's moving. Again, my bus is stuck in traffic. Nobody's moving. Right? Okay, imagine if you have I don't know, 40 students or 15 students in the classroom, and you wanted to do a fill-in-the-blanks exercise. Imagine handing out all those slips of paper to all of them. Well, surprise, this is a fill-in-the-blanks exercise. This is part of a dialogue. Now you're going to give me the answers. Hello, what's the sentence? Hi, Caitlin, it's Jake. Are you busy? No, I'm having coffee with Brittany. Where are you? Class is going to start soon. What about the next one? That's the problem. I don't think I'm going to make it tonight. And she says, why not? What's the matter? Yeah, my bus is stuck in traffic. Nobody's moving. Oh no, what are you going to do? Very good. I don't know, could you tell Mr. Eaton that I'm going to miss class? Oh, no problem. I'll give him the message. And what comes next? Very good. Oh, and could you ask Brittany to take pictures of the whiteboard for me? And then she said, sure, but I can take the pictures. Why didn't he ask Caitlin? Why? Well, guess what? Thanks, but the last time you took a picture of the board, all I could see was the wall. So you see, I left this out because it's the ending of the conversation. But then again, look, it's a dialogue. I wanted to make fill-in-the-blanks exercise, and although you might be able to hand out slips of paper, this way is a lot easier because students will create their own slips of paper, right? And it's going to make it a lot easier, right? So again, it's leaving messages, right? So then I could ask students to text their friends in order to leave messages for them or tell them. For example, I can text her and ask her to give somebody else a command, a direction, or an instruction, right? So again, this is a whole lesson. So if I think about it, have a look here. This is the